Welcome into I Remember My First Time.
Ooh.
Oh, not that first time, Jacob. We're talking about movies we love. The premise of our podcast is we talk about movies we love, and we have a guest on who has not seen the movie until recently. Today, we're talking about one of your favorite movies, Quigley Down Under.
Fucking love it. It is literally one of my favorite movies.
So, Jacob, are all the movies we do on this podcast going to be good movies?
God, I hope not.
Do you like shitty movies?
100% I do. Love shitty movies.
Do you like good movies?
Oh, yes.
Are we critics?
Absolutely not.
But do we love movies?
Love the shit out of movies.
All right, stay tuned, because coming up, we have the 1990 classic Western starring Tom Selleck, Quigley Down Under. Jacob, this ain't Dodge City, and you ain't Bill Hickok. So join us on a mustache ride through the Australian outback.
Oh, I'm so ready to ride this mustache.
Let's do it.
Now, which one of us is a virgin here? Because we have no guest on today.
I have not seen Quigley Down Under until about 4 days ago. We already mentioned it's one of your favorite movies. So this is my first time watching Quigley Down Under.
And what'd you think? Actually, before we get there, you have a bad summary for us and a good summary, don't you?
Oh, I always have a bad summary. This one I feel a little iffy about because this is from, I think it's a user review summary on IMDb. Okay. Sharpshooter Matt Quigley is hired from America by an Australian rancher so he can shoot Aborigines at a distance. Quigley takes exception to this and leaves. The rancher tries to kill him for refusing, and Quigley escapes into the brush with a woman he rescued from some of the rancher's men, and are helped by Aborigines to destroy all his enemies.
All right, I don't have to see the movie anymore.
First of all, that's wrong.
Yeah.
It's Matthew Quigley.
What did he say?
Matt Quigley.
You're right, it is Matthew. He's very adamant about that throughout the whole movie.
He doesn't leave. He gets beat up and they abandon him in the middle of the outback.
He does not get beat up. He gets the shit kicked out of him.
True.
There's no beat up in that scene.
True. So that's the bad summary. Ignore that. It has nothing to do with the movie. I don't even understand why that's there. Now, always, HBO Max has fantastic summaries. I don't know how they're so good at it. I don't know if they hire people. Tell me if you think this is better, Jacob. An American sharpshooter in Australia turns against an evil land baron after learning he's been hired to kill Aborigines.
Perfect. HBO Max really knocks the shit out of the park.
They do. They do a great job of it.
It's not even fair. All right, now it's my turn after that incredible summary by HBO. Oh, wait, no, it's not. You have
I have more critic reviews.
Oh, my God. I'm way too excited about this movie. Way too excited.
As per usual, the Roger Ebert review. What do you think? Raj had to say about this one, Jacob?
I think he loved this movie.
I thought he would too. He only gave it 2.5 out of 4 stars, so above average. Not quite in Roger Ebert's thumbs up range, which he calls a 3.
Mm-hmm.
The movie's basically 3 main characters. He loved the characters, especially Crazy Cora.
Okay.
He thought she was phenomenal.
She is.
He kind of thought the script left a little bit to be desired.
Okay, I guess.
And he went on, this is about a 6-paragraph review.
Jesus Christ.
3 of the paragraphs are him rambling about something he called the talking killer fallacy, where when the bad guy, instead of just killing who he needs to kill, has to go into some monologue and do some test of masculinity. He basically ragged on that for half of his review, which I found very funny.
Oh my gosh, what a waste of a review. Every bad guy does that. Yeah. It's part of movies.
Right. And here again, here's the thing with Roger. He's not wrong. I agree with him. I hate when that happens. Batman just killed the Joker, right?
Yeah.
It goes both ways. It's not just the killer, talking killer fallacy.
Yep.
But, come on, man.
It happens. Yeah. Get over it.
And I have my even worse review.
Yes. These are my favorite.
So this was shocking to me because it's from Entertainment Weekly.
Okay.
This isn't a fly-by-night. This is Owen Gleiberman from Entertainment Weekly. He spends the entire review complaining that there was Aborigines titties in a PG-13 movie.
No, he doesn't.
Absolutely does. He mentions Tom Selleck is a Wyoming sharpshooter, Matthew Quigley, who heads to Australia to go work for wealthy rancher Alan Rickman. And then it's nothing but complaining about Aborigines' titties in a PG-13 movie.
That's ridiculous.
He gave it a 17 out of 100.
Oh my God. All for indigenous population just doing their thing.
Yes. Heaven forbid we learn about other cultures, Jacob. We can't have that.
No, sir. No, sir. We certainly cannot. That's why we watch movies. At least Hollywood ones. And now I have the box office numbers. How well do you think this movie did? Our last show was Jurassic Park, and it opened with a $23 million weekend, if I remember right.
So this is around the same time frame. I believe Jurassic Park was 93. This is 90.
Sorry, $47 million for the opening weekend.
So I'm thinking Quigley Down Under is probably about a quarter of that. So 12 million opening weekend?
Opening weekend, October 21st, 1990, it pulled in $3,853,149.
This movie seems more popular than that.
It does. I think it got more popular after the fact. And I feel that's the way with most Westerns, honestly. Yeah, I'm excited to do more Westerns on this podcast to see what their box office numbers are.
Yeah, let's see what No Country for Old Men did, Tombstone, that sort of thing. But that seems quite low.
Yes. And Jurassic Park pulled in $912 million globally. Globally, Quigley brought in $21,413,105. So it did not have a strong go in the box office.
Did it make money?
Yeah, the budget was $20 million.
Okay, so it broke even.
Yeah. Yep. With just a little bit of profit. Okay. And I do think this is more of a cult following movie. I didn't see much of that with my cheap 5-minute Google search. It's got fucking Alan Rickman and Tom Selleck's mustache.
Yeah.
And Crazy Cora.
How do you go wrong with Alan Rickman and Tom Selleck's mustache?
You absolutely do not. All right, BJ. So this was your first time watching this movie. How did it feel? Tell me your feelings. Tell me what you liked about it. Tell me how it made you feel.
So let's start from the very beginning.
Okay.
The opening credits are rolling. You know, Quigley's drawn on a map, tracing his way.
Hold on, I got it. I love the music. That was a bad impersonation of the music, but I fucking tried.
Oh, we'll get to the music later.
Oh, I know we will.
Don't you worry.
I have lots of notes about the music, and they're all positive.
I do not. I have lots of notes. They are not all positive.
Okay, very beginning.
So anyway, the credits are rolling. I know Tom Selleck's in this movie. I see the name Alan Rickman, and I give a Tiger Woods sinking a putt on 16 style fist bump when I see Alan Rickman's in this movie.
That's what
I was so excited.
That's what I wanted, because I asked you if you had looked anything up about this movie, and you said no. I'm like, keep it that way. Just watch the movie. So awesome.
So I was under the impression that this was kind of the first modern Western. I don't know why I was under that impression. I don't know if it's true or not, but I felt it was an extremely classic Western story. Didn't really feel like it had those modern elements outside of maybe a little more political than your typical Westerns are, but very classic storyline, classic character Western. I didn't kind of connect with that modern Western part of it.
Okay.
Tom Selleck, who I've kind of always thought as awesome mustache, Magnum PI, mustache joke guy, he's a star in this movie. He owns the screen. He is great.
He is Matthew Quigley.
Yes. He's cool. He's charming. He is good looking. Speaking
of which, I was going to bring this up later, but this is a perfect time to bring this up. What's Roy look like? Because there's no fucking way there is a guy named Roy walking around looking like Tom fucking Selleck. I don't buy it. I don't care. Crazy Cora's husband does not look like Tom fucking Selleck.
No one looks like Tom Selleck.
That's what I'm saying. I would ride his mustache.
That's the best looking cowboy in any Western.
Yes. And that says a lot, because Kurt Russell, top notch in Tombstone.
Wyatt Earp?
Yes, sir.
I have never seen anybody look better in a Western than Tom Selleck looks in this movie. He is incredibly handsome.
Mm-hmm.
That hair.
Everything.
We always talk about his mustache. That hair is thick.
And the little soul patch down on the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Nice and thick, too.
Oh, yeah.
And he's taller than everybody else in the movie.
I was going to ask you that. How tall is Tom Selleck?
I have no idea. Why don't you keep telling me about the movie? I'll look up how tall Tom Selleck is.
So we'll talk about this in just a minute, but both you and I, huge Western fans.
Yes.
So those Western vibes, I was really feeling it. The vast nothingness of the Australian outback, great setting for a Western. Alan Rickman as the bad guy. You can't go wrong with Alan Rickman as the bad guy. I enjoyed the movie start to finish. Crazy Cora getting on my nerves a little bit the first 30, 45 minutes or so. Does a total 180. I enjoyed this movie start to finish. If you're into Westerns, this movie's
a must-see.
Must watch, yeah.
So before I do my notes on them or how I felt the first time I watched it, Tom Selleck is 6'4". So it was not hard to shoot scenes where he looked taller than everybody else, because he probably was.
Because I never thought of Tom Selleck as a tall guy.
Yeah.
He is towering in this movie.
Kind of had that Jack Reacher vibe.
A little bit. It's also kind of refreshing to see a sex symbol that doesn't have a six-pack.
Yes.
Tom Selleck's going to the gym, but he's going to the gym an hour 4 days a week.
Yep.
He's not going to the gym 4 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Yep.
I found that incredibly refreshing.
Yeah. The first time I watched this movie, I was 9, maybe 10. I was at my grandparents' house. This is the first Western I ever saw.
Oh, I imagine dads loved this movie.
Oh, yeah. My grandpa was ready to show me this movie. And he did, and I fucking loved it. As a kid, I probably watched this movie 15, 20 times. I could quote it beginning to end. It would annoy the shit out of my grandparents. They thought it was cute at first, and they were like, please shut up. We've seen it. And that's how much I love this movie from the beginning.
Oh, this would be a great summer movie for a 8 to 12-year-old boy.
Oh, yeah. And then, like, first Western, boom. Now I'm hooked. Give me a Louis L'Amour book, and the rest is history. So that's how I felt the first time I watched this movie. Just loved everything about it. From the start, God, the American arrogance.
So much American arrogance.
So much American arrogance. I loved it so much. The reckons and the ain'ts and the fighting. And the fighting was barely moving. Just bam, bam. I don't need to do much. I'm American. I'm better than you at everything.
How he uses the rifle as like a billy club. It just cracked me up. It cracked me up. He just kind of take a little half side step, pull the butt of that rifle up, boom, knock someone right in the jaw.
And we get introduced to Crazy Cora super quick. Sorry, Roy.
Oh, Roy.
But really, the first time you hear Matthew Quigley speak is the best, because the old people are trying to get off the boat.
Mm-hmm.
And then that frontiersman.
You can say asshole.
Well, I was trying to think of another word and I couldn't think of it, but asshole is perfect. And he just butt of the gun right in the nuts. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Quigley. We're trying to get off the boat. Don't worry about it, ma'am. I just got done talking to him. He ain't that big of a hurry after all.
I kind of thought this movie might be a comedy at that moment. That was kind of in the back of my mind. I was like, is this movie a comedy?
But again, classic Western.
Yes. Classic
Western. It does have a modern feel just with the shooting, I guess. But again, you still get those long shots and you still get that the scenery. It's got a lot of classic Western elements to it.
A lot of horse riding. They're on the carriage. Just classic burnout fires where you knew somebody was there. Classic Western written all over.
Mm-hmm. And the only reason we have Alan Rickman in this movie is because he wanted to go to Australia.
I support that 100%.
Yeah. He had never been there. This movie was shooting in Australia.
I call that Adam Sandlering. But it's like, oh, where's this movie? Hawaii? Okay, I'll shoot it. How long are we going to be there? 3 weeks? Perfect. Hey, wife, kids, we're going to Hawaii for 3 weeks.
Love that. But that's how I felt about the movie. It changed my life. I was now a Western fan. And this is a perfect action movie.
And So you told us what you thought about it the first time. What about when you've just recently seen it? What are your new thoughts on it?
The same as they were. There was a lot more racy stuff than I remember. Like from the beginning, at that scene, we're tired of black ladies and we were told we can bring back white ones. When trying to get Crazy Core in the wagon, I was like, what the fuck? Oh my God. And now we're trying to kill black people, which fits. And you brought it up. White savior movie. I'm watching this movie this time with that in my head now that you had said it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is. Even from Cora saving the baby.
So usually in a white savior movie, you can tell 5 minutes into the movie.
Yes.
You're like, oh, this is a white savior movie. I didn't have the thought on this movie until the end.
Yeah.
So I texted you and I was like, when you watch this, because you watched it a couple days after I did, I was like, let me know if you think this is a white savior movie.
And I do, but I'm still for it.
And for those of you that don't know what a white savior movie is, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Think of Sandra Bullock in The Blind Side. What was the Keanu Reeves baseball movie, Hardball?
Mm-hmm.
Where G-Baby, R.I.P. G-Baby, one of the saddest moments in movie history. When a white person comes in and saves the minorities.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie, like I said, usually you can tell, boom, in an instant, 5 minutes in the movie, oh, this is a white savior movie. At the end, I was like, wait, did I just watch a white savior movie? Yeah, you didn't realize it?
Because in the middle of the movie, the Aborigines save the white savior.
Mm-hmm.
So even at that point, you're just like, nope, still just normal Western. But no, it was not.
Any other comments before we move on to our overarching discussions?
I love the music. Every time the music came on, I was just like, oh, fuck yeah.
It is so cheesy.
It's so cheesy. It's so obnoxious. It's just bad. And I think that's why I love it. It didn't pull me out of the movie at all. It made it fucking better. I have notes here. I have notes that is just like, what does it say? Let me just find one. The ride to town, whenever he left Cora in the cave and rode to town, and dare I say it, the motherfucking music. Oh my God. The music was just great.
We're gonna have a very stern discussion about this later.
That's okay. Yes. But yes, let's move on now that we've got how we feel about the movie and me rewatching it, and it's still just as great as it ever was. Just as great as it ever was. We've already kind of done movie-related talk, what we like about the movie. It is a classic Western, even though it looks like a modern Western.
So with both of us being Western fans, you go ahead and start off. Tell me why you enjoy Westerns so much.
I actually don't even know. They don't need a lot of action to be good. They just need a little bit. Because in a Western, the elements in the environment are just as much part of an obstacle as fighting someone else.
You know, one of the things I like about kind of in this vein is no one has a technological advantage. You know, we're thinking, Avengers Age of Ultron. It's a bunch of super powered people fighting an AI all-knowing robot with a magical mind stone, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody's the same. You got pistols, you got rifles, you got shotguns, you got horses. Go.
I also love horses. I like Westerns for horses. And I also like it for the scenery. No other movies have scenery like Westerns.
The scenery is probably the number one reason I enjoy Westerns, and I'm assuming most people.
Yeah.
Just vast landscapes, freedom, escapism, being on your own with the elements.
Yeah.
Incredible sense of wonder going on when you talk about Westerns. Can I do this? How fun would this have been? I would have loved to.
If there's any moment in history that I could go back to, and as a history major, you don't ever want to go back further in history than air conditioning because life just sucked back then. But if I had to choose, it would be as a cowboy in the late 1800s.
I can see that.
Or a frontiersman in the 1700s, anytime in there.
So with the AC thing, I think I'm going to California to pan for gold.
Nice. That's fucking cool.
Bring my geologist back in me. I'll find some.
Hell yeah, you will.
I'll find some veins, and
you'll be a real 49er. Fuck yeah.
One other overarching discussion that I think is worth mentioning in this one. Alan Rickman.
Yes.
Why is Alan Rickman such a great bad guy?
Because it's so convincing and it's so real.
He's got this ability where 95% of the time he is in complete control. And then that 5%, he just loses it and goes bananas.
Yes. And he does both just as well. Neither one's better than the other one.
And he also, and maybe this is the British accent, he always kind of seems like the smartest guy in the room.
Yes. And most of the time he is.
And I don't, because I was going to say, I don't know if this is the, do you remember the HBO tennis mockumentary they did with Andy Samberg and Kit Harington?
Oh, yeah. 7 Days in Hell?
Yes.
I've seen it 3 times.
Yes.
We can do a podcast over that movie because that movie's the fucking tits.
So Kit Harington in that one is a complete moron, but he's got a British accent because he's Kit Harington. So he just keeps saying indubitably over and over, so people think he's smart. I was wondering if that was part of the Alan Rickman seeming like the smartest guy in the room to me.
So just for a little reference on how great Alan Rickman is as a bad guy, Quigley Down Under is only his 3rd movie, and he was on screen for maybe 15 or 20 minutes in a 2-hour movie. It's his 3rd movie. Die Hard was his first.
His first role was Hans Gruber?
Yeah, and Bruce Willis's first movie role was John McClane.
Well, but he was in Moonlighting and...
No, but
right,
Alan Rickman had done other stuff too.
Oh, okay.
That was both their first movie roles.
Alan Rickman seems like he would be a great play actor.
Uh-huh. I have to look that up later because I don't know if he was, but he does seem like he'd be a great play actor. He's so good. I hate that he's dead.
There's no better bad guy in movies, right?
And don't worry, guys. 5 years, BJ's kid will be old enough to start watching Harry Potter, and we can talk about Harry Potter and Alan Rickman's portrayal as Severus Snape.
Yes, because I have seen or read none of the Harry Potter books or movies, and I'm waiting for my child, who is now 5, to be old enough, and I will read and watch them with him.
So we'll fucking get there. Now, are we done with the overarching theme conversation? Is there any more?
I think so. We'll talk about Westerns, talk about Alan Rickman.
All throughout the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one more bit of trivia that I want to say before we get moving on to the rest of the show. I know most of my trivia comes at the end, but I just wanted to say that sharp rifles are known now as Quigley guns, and they have increased in sales by 1,000% since the film's release. And this data goes all the way up to 2013. The film came out in 1990.
I want a Quigley gun.
I want a Quigley gun too.
I don't know if that'll fit in the safe.
I have
Quigley's or Tom Selleck's 6'4". That gun's gotta be 5 foot long.
I know it.
It is huge.
And I have so many trivia about the fucking gun. Don't worry. And they're all fucking great. All right, now, one of our favorite parts of the podcast, the Mount Rushmore of scenes.
Oh, my favorite part. Not one of.
Not one of?
Yeah.
Your favorite part. Mount Rushmore of scenes.
I need to clear one thing up because I'm prepared for both of these scenarios.
Okay.
Is Quigley revealing the gun and shooting the barrel, and the Quigley Martson is
yeah.
Okay, the dinner scene. Is that one scene or two?
When he's showing off the gun?
Yes. When they first arrived at the ranch.
That's 2 scenes.
Okay. All right, I'm ready.
Okay. Well, you start. Your 4th favorite scene.
So while we brought it up, I'll just go with it. Quigley showing off the gun. When he first gets to the ranch, he pulls out that gun. It is beautiful. It is a beautiful rifle. And obviously all right, ride out there. Go tell him when. And he rides out. He's got to be 600 yards out.
Before you keep going, I did this for us. Lever action, breech loader, usual barrel length 30 inches. This one has an extra 4. It's converted to use a special 45 caliber 110 grain metal cartridge with a 540 grain paper patch bullet. It's fitted with double set triggers and the near sight. It's marked up to 1,200 yards. This one shoots a mite further. That's that beautiful gun you were talking about.
It's beautiful. He said that, and I didn't know what any of it meant. but I loved it.
Yep. Keep going. So the horse.
It's just the classic
show off scene.
Right. Okay. I am a badass.
Yeah.
We've kind of alluded to me being a badass. Let me show you on screen that I am a badass.
Yeah.
Love those scenes in movies. Awesome scene.
Yep. My fourth favorite scene was, I'll tell you what scene this is by a quote from the scene. You forgot the gold. You remember that scene? That's what he...
First or the second? Because I think he says it twice.
It's the same scene.
Okay.
It's when they drop him and Cora off in the middle of the desert, and he goes, you forgot the gold. Love that scene. Still had the knife in his boot, because every good cowboy has a knife in their fucking boot.
Right.
And then he stabs him. And this dumbass brought the gun with him. So now he has his gun. And the guy's like, oh shit, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Let's go.
Does no good.
Does no good. And it takes a good 30 to 45 seconds for Quigley to get set up.
Right, because he was passed.
He was passed out. Yeah. He got the shit kicked out of him. And now he's crawling, has a fucking black eye, can barely hold up the gun.
He's got a black eye, and he still looks phenomenal.
Yep.
It's a good-looking man.
Yes, it is.
That is a good-looking man. That's a good scene.
It is a good scene.
That is a good scene.
Okay, your third favorite scene.
My third favorite scene, so after Roger Ebert's famous talking killer fallacy, when the British general, major, whatever, Quigley's messing with him, he calls him a sergeant or a colonel or something all the time. When they come up and they've got guns drawn on them and the camera pulls back and you see the Aborigines just lining the ridge 360 degrees around them. That's what Westerns are all about. We come around, we've got our good guy. He defeated the bad guy. If you want to take him out, you got to go through all of us. Vast landscapes.
The landscape shots of that scene were phenomenal.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
That typifies great Westerns.
Yes.
That scene right there.
100%.
That's why it's my third favorite scene.
My third favorite scene is the Quigley Martin meeting.
The dinner or the... gun?
Oh, no, the meeting.
Okay.
When he was showing off the gun. Because as soon as he got off the wagon, Alan Rickman is like, oh, man, I'm so happy you're here. And without skipping a beat, he goes, you paid me $50 in gold coin just for showing up. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we're in for a good time. And we were, because he immediately pulled out his badass gun. And what a fucking gun.
Is that gun up for auction?
So there was 3 guns made.
Okay.
He already auctioned off 2 of them, and the proceeds went to the NRA. I believe, if I remember that trivia right, because he's a top dog in the NRA.
Okay.
And the other one he gave to someone's wife, if not his wife. I didn't write that trivia one down, but 2 of them were auctioned off, and there was 3 made. One of them was made as a club, so it could get all scratched up and shit.
Fair.
The other one was made to shoot, and then the other one was made to just be in scenes. And then there were 3 more made, just in case there's any mess ups with the 3 that were on screen. And I don't know what happened to those 3.
Because if one of those go up for auction, I might throw a bid out there.
So you mentioned that you didn't know anything that he was talking about when he was talking about the gun. One of the little trivias is in the scene where Quigley demonstrates the rifle, he mentions that the bullet is paper patched, which might sound like some Hollywood mumbo jumbo. However, it's an actual technique common in the mid to late 1800s to maximize accuracy and precision. A thin layer of paper is placed around the bullet, which is then used by the barrel rifling to spin the bullet fast enough to stabilize it during flight.
Okay.
So that's a real thing.
All right. Yeah, I assumed, and I have no problem with Hollywood mumbo jumbo.
No. Oh, and just in case anybody missed it, what Quigley writes down to respond to the newspaper ad is M. Quigley 900 yards. That's all I put on there. I can shoot at 900 yards. The guy getting on the horse and running full speed to pick up the bucket, loved it. You didn't need to do that. You could have just picked up the bucket first. It's probably more hard to ride a horse full speed. But
Not
you did.
Near as badass.
Not near as badass, and you did it, and it looked good. And then him just running that bucket out there, and Quigley just getting the gun ready, and everybody just like, what the fuck? And the girls, she's just like, can your man really hit this bucket this far out? And Crazy Cora's like, oh, I don't know him. I've never seen him before in my life.
And just for the record, we're not being rude calling her Crazy Cora. IMDb, she's listed as Crazy Cora.
Yeah. If you're listening to this and you haven't seen this movie, I don't care what you think. Sorry.
Jacob only respects people that have seen Quigley Down Under.
100%. Or any movie that we talk about. It's called I Remember My First Time. We're going to talk about the whole movie.
So what do we on to? Second favorite scene?
Second favorite scene. Your go.
The Quigley Martinson dinner scene.
Okay.
Just, this is the one, basically the only time the movie gives a little time to breathe. Where you get to know Quigley a little bit. You get to know Martinson a little bit. And it ends with Alan Rickman being thrown through a window. His own window.
Yes.
Which you can believe because Tom Selleck is huge in this movie.
And it pisses Martinson off. He's like, no. No one kicks me out of my own house. Then he walks back in there and gets kicked out again.
That's that 0 to 60 Alan Rickman thing I'm talking about. It's great Alan Rickman in that scene.
Yes. My second favorite scene was also the dinner scene. And watching this movie as an adult for the first time, Alan Rickman plays a great drunk guy too.
Sure. Most British people can.
Yeah. It was just he was playing just drunk enough for you to be like he's inebriated, but all his wits about him. And even though it was a scene where you were able to breathe a little bit, it was still tense. And I love that about the scene. And then just the way it ends with Quigley getting the complete shit kicked out of him.
Were you shocked when for his servant to hit Quigley over the head to knock him out? I was shocked when that happened. I did not see that coming.
The first time I saw it, I was very shocked. I didn't understand it at all.
Same. That's where I was.
Yeah.
This was my first time to see it.
Yeah. Now, no, I'm not. No. And now I kind of understand it. There's the language barrier and the culture barrier, and this guy is, I guess, being treated relatively well by Alan Rickman.
It seems so.
Like at least in terms of how you could be treated.
In the American South, they had a term for that called the house N.
Yeah.
It's still wrong.
Yeah. And like and in the American South, it's like if you were a slave owner and nice to your slaves, like house ends or whatever, it just meant you treated them like animals that you liked.
Correct.
And if my dog shits on my floor, I'll beat the shit out of him.
Right.
So
right. And I'm potty training my child right now.
Yeah.
That happened with him.
In no way am I.
And this is not no way 5-year-old's potty trained.
In no way am I comparing a dog to a human being. Just want to say that right now.
Yes. Because when he takes his shirt off at the end of the movie and you see the whip marks across his chest, that hurt me, man.
And when it hurt me, but it also like he takes his shirt off and he's like he's fucking going home.
Yes.
Hell yes.
Finally going to where he should have been the whole time.
Yep. So yeah, that was my second favorite scene, and I love the end of it with Quigley just getting the shit kicked out of him. Shit kicked. Yes. He was shit kicked. Because I love a good ass kicking. If an ass kicking doesn't happen in a movie, you're not a real action hero. Well, I mean, you are. You got Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, watch Rocky.
No, I know you got Rocky, but you also got Rambo and the 5 after that. Yeah. All right. First favorite scene, number 1.
I have a feeling that ours is the same here. Is it the hotel getting caught on fire fight in the village?
It's actually not. I didn't find that scene quite as intense as I remember it.
Oh, I really enjoyed that scene.
It was a good scene. There was just I had 4 others I'd rather put on there. It's an honorable mention.
Okay, I was absolutely enthralled in the scene when he crawls through the storm sewer pipe, I guess, to sneak up behind the bad guys. When he uses the gun as a pull-up bar, breaks the window, gets through the roof. There's a hotel burning in the background the entire time. It's great Western action scene, done extremely well. One guy being chased, outsmarting everybody else. He pulls the he pulls the Home Alone and drops a pot on the bad guy's head.
Yeah.
Second funniest part behind when he racks the guy.
Yeah, and then the third one is him falling through the house that he jumped onto the roof.
I always wondered because he's a big guy.
Yes.
He's a big guy, and They didn't quite make stuff the same in 1880.
Yeah, whatever. I'll fall through a fucking roof too if I jump on another roof.
Oh, I love that scene. I just needed that really good action scene at that moment. When that happened, I was like, this movie's awesome. I don't care what happens at the end. This movie's awesome. Just put it over the top.
So my number one favorite scene, I realize now after you asked me what could count as one scene with the meeting and dinner scene, and I said no. I cheated because I forgot about my number one scene being the final showdown.
Okay.
Which I'm counting as him getting caught too.
Right.
You have the fucking horse chase with the goddamn music. Oh, I love the music in the horse chase. Love it. And then you have him shooting the log for it to crash into the other guy. You have all the booby traps, and then he gets caught by that little Irish fucker and brought back. Oh, I forgot to mention the dinner scene. One of my favorite things about the dinner scene is Alan Rickman talking about the Colt, his revolver, and him saying he never really preferred it. Never had much use for one. Never had much use for one.
Doesn't mean I didn't know how to use it.
And I was like, I love that. I meant to mention it when I mentioned the dinner scene because it's going to come back in a big way.
You're a big fan of foreshadowing, I'm learning.
Big fan of foreshadowing. Big fan of foreshadowing.
Your 7th grade English teacher would be so proud.
She would. She would. Miss Turner, I think, was her name. She'd be so fucking proud. But I love that. And then Alan Rickman putting the rifle in front of him, then throwing it away and giving him a revolver, just totally like, I'm going to get this.
Yeah, Hollywood, don't listen to Roger Ebert.
No.
Give me the talking killer fallacy. I don't mind it one bit.
No, I don't either. And I forgot to mention on the meeting scene when Alan Rickman, because back to my number 3 scene during the meeting, you had Alan Rickman, his character, get a little like, oh my God, I'm not top dog around here. I don't know if y'all can't see me, but I'm shaking my hips in my seat a little bit. And then the 2 deserters showed up and he had to shoot them. And he was like, watch this, Mr. Quigley. Watch this, Mr. Quigley. You'll enjoy this. And then he shot him. I love that. And then the ending happened in the exact same fucking way.
Same way.
And Quigley fucking did it because of course he did. Because he's Matthew motherfucking Quigley. And just because he ain't never had no use for one, don't mean he don't know how to use it.
We did it. We came up with our Mount Rushmore scene.
Yep. And podcast over. We're done. We don't need to finish it. We're done.
No, we're not.
I know we're not. I'm just kidding. But we could end right there. That's how good the top 4 scenes of this movie fucking were. If anyone hasn't seen this movie, we've kind of ruined them for you, but you still can't miss one. I've seen this movie 30 times, and I had so much fun last night. I stayed up till 2:30 in the morning watching this goddamn movie.
Again, if you like Westerns, you will enjoy this movie.
Yes. Just as we leave the top scene category, early career roles for Alan Rickman, early career villain roles for Alan Rickman. Die Hard, 1988. Quigley Down Under, 1990. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, 1991.
Oh, we're not doing that movie on this podcast.
Why not? I've never seen it.
We might, okay.
I've never seen it.
You know I love Kevin Costner.
And I'm a huge Alan Rickman fan and a huge Kevin Costner fan.
You know I love Costner, so we may.
All right, so now on to our next category, character breakdown. I'm going to start with Matthew Quigley.
There's 3 characters in the movie, essentially.
Yeah,
right?
There's only 3. Yeah. This was supposed to be Steve McQueen's next film after The Hunter in 1980. And then he got sick. And then it was offered to Harrison Ford, and he declined it. Then it was offered to Tom Selleck in 1985, and he declined it.
Because he was doing Magnum P.I.?
100% because he was doing Magnum P.I. And then as soon as Magnum P.I. got finished, he was like, I want to be Matthew Quigley. This movie's still available. Because Tom Selleck is fucking Matthew Quigley.
Yes.
His name could be Matthew Quigley for all I care.
This is a rare occasion where I think Harrison Ford in this role, it's a worse movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely no shade to Harrison Ford.
Absolutely not.
We love Harrison Ford.
Absolutely we do. We're going to do a lot of Harrison Ford movies in this podcast.
Yes, we will.
But yeah, it would have been slightly worse as a Harrison Ford movie. Just because I love shit like this, we're going to stay on Matthew Quigley real quick. Another little bit of trivia. His ability to shoot over 1,200 yards with iron sights isn't as far-fetched as it sounds. In 1984, during the Second Battle of Adobe Walls in northern Texas, William Dixon used a 50 caliber 110 Sharps to shoot a Native American off his horse from 1,500 yards away.
Did you say 1984 or 1884?
I said 18. Well, I don't know what I said.
Okay.
But I meant 1874.
Okay.
Such a heavy bullet propelled by black powder would have a trajectory similar to that of an arrow fired from 100 yards, striking its target at a 30-degree downward angle. Dixon claimed his shot was pure luck.
That's quite a shot.
Yeah, and this gun, I'm not going to read this whole bit of trivia. I'll wait till that for the end because we're doing character breakdown. But big fan of Matthew Quigley. He had the size for his personality because he exuded American arrogance on an extreme level.
If you're wondering what big dick energy is,
yes,
it's Tom Selleck as Matthew Quigley.
Yes, huge big dick energy.
From the first time you see him, you're like, that's not the only thing that was extended 4 inches.
Not even when you see him, just when you see him get ready, you haven't even seen his face yet. All the bullets, all the guns, the knife, you're like, this guy's packing, and not just with weapons. You go on about Matthew Quigley.
So, like I said, entering this movie, to me, Tom Selleck was mustache joke guy. It's like, awesome mustache. But he is an absolute star in this movie.
Are you going to watch more Tom Selleck Westerns now?
Sure. Yeah, I will not say no to a Tom Selleck Western anymore.
Awesome.
You know how old Tom Selleck was when they filmed this movie?
No.
40.
Get out of here.
He was 40.
Oh, fuck, he's 77 now. That makes sense. Because math.
Yeah. Oh, wait, no. So he would have been, what, 45? Yeah, he was 45.
That's ridiculous.
And, I'm always infatuated with the Tom Selleck mustache. Tom Selleck's hair is underrated. That is a thick rug on the top of his head.
And we're both bald men over here. We love good hair.
Yes.
On anybody.
Yes.
Good hair is good hair. And Tom Selleck has good fucking hair.
Great hair. I want to run my fingers through it.
At least once. Just once. Please, Tommy. Let me do it once. What else did you think about Tom Selleck as Matthew Quigley?
As far as the acting goes in this movie, there's not a lot of negative to say about any of these people. The only thing was I felt like his kind of hand-to-hand combat was a little weak. His hand-to-hand combat could have been a little better.
But, I mean, that's classic Western.
That's true.
That's true. Classic Western. And we've already decided this is a classic Western.
Okay. All right. That's about the only pseudo-negative thing I'll say about Tom Selleck's portrayal of Matthew Quigley.
All right. Now we're on to Crazy Cora. Love Crazy Cora. My favorite Crazy Cora quote. I wanted to start the podcast off with this, but you can't beat "This ain't Dodge City and you ain't Bill Hickok." My pull for that quote to open the episode was, just because the road is rocky doesn't mean your spirit needs to be rocky too. Love Crazy Cora. And I love that Roy was Tom Selleck for so long to her.
Yes.
Like, she had been driving herself nuts for God knows how long, because we were never told how long she was in Australia.
We have no idea.
It could have been a decade.
Right.
And he was Roy, and she would not let it go, and she played it perfect. But also she'd have those moments. And you said that she annoyed you for probably the first 30 minutes. And I'm betting I know the quote that pulled you out of that.
Go for it.
It was once they were stranded in the desert and they were waking up from being knocked the fuck out.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Don't worry, on a new job, it's quite common for things not to go well at first." Was that the quote? Did that pull you?
Pretty much. Well, once I found out, like, she's got issues.
Yeah.
She's got mental issues. They didn't have therapists in 1874.
Especially in Australia, where you sent all the fucking outlaws.
Right. Beautiful in this movie.
She is really pretty.
She is And also, it's a little unfair because she is designed for me. What I look for in women is exactly what she looks like.
Fair enough. But she was very pretty nonetheless.
Yes. Fantastic chemistry with Tom Selleck.
Yes, very much so. They worked very well off each other.
Yes.
And the whole Roy and Cora and Matthew Quigley thing, you believed it. It was real.
When she walks up, when he's getting the boat ticket back and she walks up behind him, just oozing with sexual tension in that scene.
Uh-huh.
Oozing with it.
And she's got on that red dress.
Oh, that red dress.
That red dress that she wanted from that town. She got on the red dress. And that guy's got the gun under the fucking table. He's ready to bring in Matthew Quigley, dead or alive.
Roy Cobb. Is that a tip of the hat to The Natural with Robert Redford? Wasn't he Roy Cobb in The Natural?
I've never seen The Natural with Robert Redford.
Okay.
I've only seen one Robert Redford movie, The Horse Whisperer.
Okay. I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what to say about The Horse Whisperer. I have nothing on The Horse Whisperer. When's The Horse Whisperer going to be on this podcast?
Well, we do like westerns.
We do.
It's a western and it's in Montana, so great scenery.
Love Montana.
Love Montana. If I could live in any northern state and deal with winter, it would be Montana.
Montana is one of those where every time I hear Montana, I think of the Carradine brother in Deadwood talking to Timothy Oliphant.
Yes.
That's how I hear Montana in my head every time someone says it.
Keith Carradine.
There you go.
Knew I was going to remember it. All right, now Alan Rickman as, oh my God, what was his first name?
Elliot?
No, it wasn't Elliot.
Yeah, I mean, it was Martinson or Martson or...
Yeah, but I want his first name. Of course, I'm on the user reviews on my IMDb page. Yeah, you're right, Elliot Martin.
Yeah.
Shit. Okay, Elliot Martin.
He's Alan Rickman as a bad guy. We had the Alan Rickman conversation already. I can't speak highly enough for how little he was in this movie and how much he did for this movie.
Yeah, that's all I got to say about Alan Rickman too. This was also my first Alan Rickman movie.
Oh, you saw this before Die Hard?
I saw this before Die Hard. I did, and I loved Alan Rickman. First time I saw this, and of course you never root for the bad guy, so I wasn't rooting for him. But I'm like, God, this guy's fucking awful. And he does it so well.
Yes. Terrible
human
awful
being.
Person.
And able to just bring it out in a way that you wouldn't think is possible.
Is this your favorite Alan Rickman performance, or is it Hans Gruber?
Hans Gruber.
The Hans Gruber death is better than the death.
And him acting like a scared American. God, that scene's so good. Can't wait to do Die Hard here. All right, and now for one of my favorite parts, trivia and facts, because I didn't bring this up in Jurassic Park, but every time I watch a new movie, as soon as I can afterwards, I go to IMDb and look at the trivia for the movie.
That's fair.
Doesn't matter how long the trivia is, sometimes it annoys me, but I will sit there and scroll through all of it.
What else are you going to do?
Nothing, because I fucking love movies. Right. So my first bit of trivia, well, not my first, I've sprinkled them throughout the episode, but a neat one was when Quigley is asked where he's from, he responds Wyoming.
Not a state at the time.
But he's meaning the state.
Mm-hmm.
To which he is met with, that near Sydney? And Quigley says, a bit further north. When in fact, Wyoming is the name of a suburb in New South Wales, just north of Sydney.
Oh, didn't know that.
So shout out to the people in Wyoming.
Wyoming, Australia.
Yeah. Thought that was really cool. The Shiloh Sharp's replica rifle that Quigley uses in the movie uses an actual double set trigger. An excellent image of this trigger is seen when Matthew is demonstrating accuracy of the rifle along with his own proficiency for Martson immediately after his arrival at the station. The rifle is loaded, then the hammer is drawn back to the cock position. On target, the rear trigger is then squeezed. Now the front trigger is ready, set to fire the weapon, using only an extremely light hair trigger squeeze. The rifle may also be fired using only the front trigger after loading and setting the hammer to the cock position, but with a more conventional heavy pull to fire the weapon. So that's why it was so accurate, because there wasn't a huge pull.
Right. You can just kind of hairpin that.
Just barely
that was
touch
the coolest
it.
Part. That was one of the coolest parts of the gun too. Was the double trigger.
Yeah. And then the last bit of trivia, I already mentioned that sharp rifles are now known as Quigley guns.
Awesome.
And they increase in sales by 1,000% after this movie.
Wow.
The only other bit of trivia that I have better than that one is, you remember when Quigley shot 2 guys at the same time?
Yes. He was waiting all morning in them hills.
Yep. Snipers for the U.S. Navy SEALs call that shot that takes 2 people out simultaneously a Quigley.
Is this the first time that's been done in a movie? Or at least the biggest? I don't know.
I don't know. I'd like to know. And I didn't even think of that. I just thought that was so cool.
That is.
U.S. Navy SEALs, they called it Quigley. Kind of makes me want to read American Sniper a little bit more. Because I'm sure the sniper with the most confirmed kills in U.S. history had a couple of those.
You think Chris Kyle Quigley'd some guys?
I'm fucking sure he did. All right. Now for BJ's favorite part of the episode, outside of the Mount Rushmore of scenes, is our impersonation segment.
Ooh. We're doing our down under accents?
We're doing our down under accents. Best Australian accent.
Hi there, Matthew. Come over here. I've got something for you. You see them dingoes over there? I bet you can't shoot that dingo from 700 yards with that other rifle.
God damn it. That's tough to follow. That was much better than your dinosaur.
That doesn't say much. I was trying to combine a chicken and a tiger and a penguin or whatever.
And an elephant. Whatever the fuck you had else going on with that trivia. Oh, crikey, mate. That fucking dingo's a big one. We got to get that fucking dingo. That's what I got.
So as somebody who has seen Seinfeld, I kind of half expected the dingo to eat a baby.
I forgot about that till just now. Oh my God.
Shout out to the dingo scene. I'm surprised that wasn't in either of our top 4s.
It is an honorable mention.
For sure.
Because that was one of Crazy Cora's best scenes.
Crazy Cora protecting the baby from the dingo is
and
quality Western movie.
And being so close to her killing her own kid. Clearly she has mental problems.
Right.
It could have ended so, and when you're watching the scene, you think it's going to end differently.
Yes.
You think she's going to kill the kid.
I was like, oh, is this where they got the dingo ate your baby?
Uh-huh. God, that would have been great.
No, it wouldn't have.
I know it wouldn't have, but at the same time, I'm just kidding. Dingoes eating babies is never great. Another good scene, as an honorable mention, was the scene where the Aborigines saved Quigley and Crazy Cora.
Right, because I love a montage.
Love a montage.
I love them. I'm here for any montage.
And anybody that knows Aborigines and knows the language, or any Aborigine listeners, if that was real Aborigine language, it says on IMDb that it was. That would be cool to know.
I don't speak a whole lot of Aborigine.
I don't speak any. Not even a whole lot. None. But apparently that was their language and very authentic. Very good scene.
Good stuff.
And I love them eating the live beetles.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy Cora just not moving her mouth, just not wanting to bite down. And then Quigley, being Quigley, full-on American arrogance, doesn't want to do it, but picks the biggest fucking one on the plate.
You think this was the inspiration to Joe Rogan for doing Fear Factor?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Lot of culture. We've got the Quigley gun. You got the Quigley kill, and it basically started Fear Factor.
Love that.
Obviously, fear is not a factor for you.
Nope. And it wasn't for Matthew fucking Quigley.
No, it wasn't.
And honestly, it wasn't for Crazy Cora either. She was always down to throw down.
Always.
She never backed off. Another woman with good woman empowerment in a movie. She didn't need Quigley.
No, she didn't.
She told Roy, quote unquote, that there had been no one but him. If that's true, that's hard to do.
Oh yeah.
Especially it was a lot harder back then for women than it is now. And it's pretty rough now. So
true. Very true.
All right. Now to another good part. What was your least favorite part of the movie?
The score. The music in this, I can't believe you liked it. It was so cheesy. They pulled it straight from like episodes of The Rifleman or something.
And it came on all of the time.
It was so much in the movie.
It was worse than Ron Hammond saying we spared no expense in Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah.
But it didn't pull me out of the movie. I was enthralled by it. I was like, fuck yes, shower me with music.
Oh, it was such lame music.
It was so great.
Yeah, the music's reading through the critic reviews, pretty much every one of them was like, what the F is going on with the score in this movie? What are they trying to do here? What is this? Who thought this was a good idea?
Me. I did.
So I felt very understood reading those reviews.
And I bet when you heard that I love the music so much, you were fucking floored.
Floored.
What I didn't like about the movie? Nothing. This movie's fucking perfect. I don't give it a 10 out of 10 for whatever reason that I don't. There's things that it was missing, but I don't know what. I give this an 8. I don't know what I don't know what was missing. I'm not sure what they could have put in to make it any different. But this movie's fucking perfect. There's nothing I don't like.
Well, so I agree with it. Again, obviously I didn't like the music.
Yeah.
But the problem is I can't give it a 10 because there are Westerns that are better than this.
Sure.
Just off the top of my head, I think No Country for Old Men is the standard bearer.
Okay.
For Westerns, especially modern Westerns. Tombstone is better.
Yeah.
A movie we both recently watched, Wind River. If you haven't seen Wind River,
you got to watch it.
Oh, it's Jeremy Renner, Elizabeth Olsen.
This motherfucker here is making me a Jeremy Renner fan, and I don't like it. So that's what's happening with Wind River, in case y'all missed it.
310 to Yuma.
Yeah. Which is also on the streaming service now. Quality awesome. Western. Open Range.
Okay, yep.
And I don't know what makes those movies better than Quigley Down Under, but they are.
I agree. I can't really put my finger on it because, like I said, maybe it's just the script of this movie is not as strong.
Yeah.
But the acting and the casting, I don't think they could have gotten any better.
I don't either. All right. Final thoughts on the movie. Anything else you want to bring up?
A wild romp of a Western. A fun, classic Western that doesn't look too old.
Yes.
That's kind of the gist of the movie, I would say. It's a classic old Western that looks fairly new in terms of movies. I mean, I can tell that this movie wasn't made in 2015, right?
Yeah.
But as far as Westerns go, an absolute fun classic Western that still looks modern enough to watch today.
Yeah. My final thoughts would be I loved how much everybody hated the British too. Because of course everybody in Australia does. I don't know about now, but back then, for sure. and just the arrogance that they all felt on that wagon ride going in when Quigley just like, yeah, we ran all the misfits out of our country and then spit. Oh my God.
Great cowboy spit.
And then all those people that are criminals, sure. according to Britain, were just like, fuck yeah. That's what we want to say to these cocksuckers.
And, again, this isn't a political podcast. We're not going to get into this. This movie is very anti-colonialism.
Yes. To the extreme.
Oh, yes. It's wild.
Because how does a Western frontier cowboy from Wyoming take the native side?
I don't know.
It just doesn't seem very likely to me. I mean, you got your Dances with Wolves, and obviously you got your Matthew Quigley, but still. And he went after it hard. Like,
he knew immediately. Like, there were no thoughts.
Yeah. Immediately there were no thoughts, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm out in the middle of fucking nowhere in a country I don't know, and I'm going to die for this.
Because I'm assuming you don't get that good as a long-range rifleman without killing other human beings.
There's no way.
You're not doing that to pick off deer.
Not back then.
You're not doing that to pick off whitetail from 400 yards.
No. You're not shooting bears. You're not shooting mountain lions. You might be doing a little bit.
Right.
But yeah.
And clearly he doesn't have a problem killing people.
No.
Because
he does it often.
A lot of people in this
What's
movie.
the final death count of this movie? Why did I not look that up?
Okay, so he kills 2 after they drop him off in the middle of the outback. After the Aborigines save him, he kills 4? No. He kills 3 because the Aborigines kill 1, right?
Yep.
Then he kills 2 and shoots 1 in the leg and has him go back to Martinson in the village hotel firefight.
Okay, listofdeath.phantom.com. Just want to let y'all know is wrong because they say a total of 5. We're already above that number.
Yeah.
Keep going, BJ. Sorry.
So he kills the 3 people in the final this ain't Dodge City and you ain't Bill Hickok scene. And he kills 3 in the preceding fight. No. 3 in the preceding fight before that in the Quigley shot where he gets 2.
Yep.
I lost count. What was that, 10?
Something like that.
Yeah, they're wrong.
Yeah, 5 is fucking wrong. Don't go there. Do you think they should remake this movie?
Remake it? No. But I did have a couple ideas for movies after watching this.
Okay.
One is, somebody go ahead and make a super campy Western.
I would love it.
Oh,
You're not going to make a lot of money.
No.
But you will make a lot of money in DVD sales, Blu-ray sales, whatever the fuck they're putting out now.
Yeah, and you do it like the old spaghetti Westerns where you got a pretty low budget. It's super campy. I'd love to see that. My other idea is actually a kind of like a Netflix show where the cowboy is going to different countries. And we can see how different countries kind of in this era behaved. So he goes to Germany for a season. He goes to Brazil for a season. He goes to Australia for a season. He goes to Mexico for a season. I would love that show.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You know how they kind of do like Narcos Mexico?
Mm-hmm.
Be something like that.
Yeah. I like that. My answer is no, because this movie's fucking perfect. Like I
don't think you could. I don't think you can recreate the 3 stars you have in this. You can't recreate.
I don't think so either, and that's the reason you can't remake it.
Right.
You can't. There's no one else in Hollywood now that could do Tom Selleck.
The script of the dialogue's not good enough.
No, that too, and then you have to have someone captivate the screen for 15 minutes like Alan Rickman did.
Right.
As the bad guy. You can't do it.
Yeah, what are you gonna have Jake Gyllenhaal with a wispy mustache?
Nope.
No. I don't
God, Jake Gyllenhaal looked bad with a mustache. At least Alan Rickman's facial hair looked good. It wasn't Tom Selleck's.
No. What is?
No, nobody.
It's Tom Selleck.
Speaking of which, we had this conversation. He has the best mustache. Better than Sam Elliott.
Yes.
Better than Kurt Russell.
Yes.
Better than Johnny Ringo.
Yep. Yeah. This is the best mustache in cinema.
Yep. Not even close. Y'all heard it here.
Best mustache in cinema.
I guess we've already answered the next question. Can't recast the movie.
Can't.
No. Because no one can play Crazy Cora.
No. Like I said, phenomenal chemistry she had with Tom Selleck.
Yes. And you can't beat that. All right. One of my this might be my favorite part because I love a good bad review. And I do reviews from IMDb. I go through the top 10 and the 1 out of 10s. And I choose the best ones. You want good or bad first?
Oh, always good first. We always end on bad.
Always end on bad. Heard.
In the words of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in Fast 5, which will be done on this podcast, don't you worry. I like my dessert first.
Heard that. I love this movie, is the title. Great storyline and terrific set of actors. Humor, anger, sadness, and heroism in the spirit of the Duke. Wish Selleck had made several of these.
Kind of did, didn't he?
He did.
Okay.
I picked that one because he said the Duke. It's the only reason I picked it.
Yeah, you gotta have a John Wayne shout out.
Yeah.
It's classic Western. You gotta shout out to the Duke.
And then for some reason, everybody feels like they need to write as much as a critic. So I try to go short too. That's
high taught coming from somebody who you and your buddy just spent an hour and 15 minutes talking about this movie.
That's fair. That's a good point. So my 1 out of 10 one is titled Quigley Plain Crazy. Huh? How did this movie get 8, 9, and 10-star reviews? This was awesome. Yes, it was. 100%. This was a very strange and unentertaining film. I don't know if y'all have listened to this podcast so far, but that's not true. I actually had to turn it off. In the first place, it's very hard to follow. There is basically no dialogue about why or where they are going, why the guy, Quigley, fought a group of men and then decided to ride in a wagon with them. Okay. The movie makes no sense. The idiot girl who follows Quigley everywhere and refers to him as Roy when his name is Matthew. Her husband, who was either dead or something happened to him, that was not very well explained either.
Yeah, because you turned the movie off and you didn't understand why.
Yeah, because it was explained.
Yes.
She was the epitome of annoying and anything but sweet. She was an added character that should have been erased from the script. And don't get me started on the savages. Whoa. Savages.
What did they do?
Oh, my God. And how did he get far enough to even see them? And by them, I mean the natives, not the fucking savages.
So he must have bailed after the Aborigines montage scene. Because kind of after that is when Cora describes what happened.
But how do you get that far and turn it off?
I don't know. I don't know how you turn it off at that point.
You had to turn off. You would have to turn it off at the beginning when Cora does her stupid quote.
Yeah.
About being Rocky, or the evening when they were camping that before they made it to the camp. Anyways. So they took Quigley and the girl captive, but randomly left and didn't try to eat them. So obviously that's what he thinks about natives.
Oh, correct. Yes.
Oh no, we can't. Oh wait, whatever their intention was. And then to make things worse, the bad guys start shooting the savages. Oh no, we can't have racism. Not even in an era where they would have had to defend themselves from Indians if they wanted to remain alive and protect their people. We know what side of history this guy's on.
Wow. Is this the first like pro Trail of Tears person you've ever read on the internet?
Yes. 100%. They were just trying to protect everybody.
Hey, how come Andrew Jackson's not on Mount Rushmore? Seems like a badass to me.
So Quigley comes to the rescue and kills some of the bad guys who were shooting at the Indians. Sure, that makes sense, right? Indians take on hostages, then hero comes and defends Indians. If that doesn't show you that movies nowadays try to advance their political agendas through movies, I don't know what will. If that's the kind of trash you like, well, you can have it. Just watch this movie a couple times and you'll see.
As the director is big NRA guy.
Yeah. The Star.
Oh, Selleck's NRA guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If that doesn't show you that movies nowadays try to advance their political agendas, that's not what this movie's doing. It's a white savior movie.
That guy's got issues, man.
And he doesn't like Westerns.
Don't watch it if you don't like Westerns. It's a Western.
He clearly doesn't know. He clearly doesn't like Westerns. Fought a group of men, then decided to ride in a wagon with them. Yeah, you don't know where you are.
Yes.
And you know that someone's picking you up. People get in fights back then.
Right.
All of the time. You could shoot someone in the street and not go to jail. So yeah, you can have a fucking fist fight.
Well, no, this guy I think he does like Westerns. He just wants the cowboys to kill the Indians. And he's confused that the cowboys didn't kill the Indians.
Oh, jeez. Well, yep. So that came in August 2021. So
Ooh.
This guy's one of the Make America greats.
He thinks all lives matter.
He thinks all lives matter for sure. For sure. All right, BJ, the most important question of the whole podcast. Should people watch this movie?
Absolutely. There's no reason not to watch this movie.
Even if you've never seen a Western before.
Even if you've never seen a Western before, this is a great introduction. It's not black and white. It's not John Wayne doing weird stuff like this. It's modern enough. It's classic Western tropes, horseback riding, gunfights. Watch it. Watch it. I can't tell you to watch it enough.
I agree with all of that. Watch this movie. Watch it again. Watch it a third time. Watch it a fourth time. I've seen this movie like 30 fucking times. I think everybody should watch this movie. It's amazing. And everybody loves a good mustache, and you get to watch one for 2 hours.
And very attractive people.
Yep.
Very attractive people.
Well, I remember my first time, and this time was a good one.
Oh, yes, it was. 2 hours of pure entertainment.
Until next time.